Is it on? Welcome, everybody.
Hold on, say it again.
Welcome.
We're here.
We're here.
That was loud.
Yeah, it's a little bit loud. So,
It's your boys. It's Matt and Sean. I'm Matt. I'm Sean. That's
I'm Matt and Sean.
Welcome to
I'm
the internet.
both.
He's androgynous, Sean Matt. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. If you guys are coming to us from iTunes, shout out to you. Make sure you give us a 5-star review. We're gonna talk about some shit today. We're streaming live on Twitch right now. Every Saturday at some point in the afternoon, we stream our podcast live. If you want to show up and be part of the conversation, if not, that's fine too. Matt, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. For everybody that's listening, I was supposed to do that intro, but I'm not good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's okay. Now you see, you're learning.
I'm learning.
You're slowly learning.
Sean's been doing this. How long have you been doing this, Sean? How long have you been streaming twitching?
I started my YouTube channel years ago, right? Making shitty Minecraft videos.
Yeah.
Okay, don't go that far back if you guys are listening to my channel. I might delete all those videos. Dude.
Don't delete them.
It was fucking bad. The point is, I started years ago.
Okay.
Trying to record walkthroughs and stuff like that, and then I started streaming on Twitch, actually live conversation over a year ago. So I've had a little bit of practice.
Yeah, that's a lot. How many episodes do you think you've
Public
done?
speaking of what? How many streams you think I've done?
Yeah,
Well, I was streaming like at least 5 days a week.
for
a year.
365
So,
days.
3 hours
You
at
didn't do
least.
365. Well, maybe you did 365.
Yeah, well, I streamed extra days some weeks, so if it
Yeah.
averages out to 5 days a week, 50 weeks, I mean,
about 300 at
maybe 300. Yeah, over 300
streams.
streams now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I'm good with the welcomes.
Welcomes.
How are yous?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's not, it's an attained skill.
yeah. We are trying to make a song for the intro. I was trying to get Sean to do the lyrics, but
I'm really bad at writing lyrics.
Sean,
dude.
he thinks so. He asked me to do them. But the thing is, when it comes to music, I can make music. Like I can make sonically, I can make it all. But I can't write for shit. Like I'm in a band.
Weird, man.
I'm in a band, and I don't even know the lyrics to my own songs. Like it's just not. I don't know. I've never been like a lyrics person. Like I hear what's what's actually playing. I can hear the melodies. I know like all of that kind of stuff, but for the actual lyrics,
I gotta
like
turn off the heat.
I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff.
see.
And Sean's a lyricist. The dude sits and just listens to full albums and just goes over the deep meanings of whatever artist is saying, and I'm just like, I didn't get any of that. I could barely, like, I don't even know like a full bar. Like Drake's songs are the easiest songs to know, and I don't know any.
he's on the
Like,
radio all the
yeah,
time.
I don't know half the fucking words. I thought when he was saying what, you taking all my energy, I thought it was synergy.
Taking all my synergy.
Yeah.
I like lyrics, man, but there's a significant difference. Like, and we've had this conversation kind of before because I listen to a lot of music, and you're always like, "Well, I'm surprised you didn't get into music and like making music."
Yeah.
And like when I did like briefly, for those of you guys that don't know, I did briefly dabble in making like hip hop beats, like making music. I try a little bit. I put my little toe in, but there's a significant difference between understanding and appreciating music and really having the ability to create it. And which is on a macro level, you look at me like I love music, but I can't make it for shit. But then even on a micro level, like you're in a band, you've been in bands for years,
Yeah.
and you can't write lyrics. There's a difference between like understanding what needs to exist and being able to create it.
Yeah.
With most art, but with music. So I don't know, like with lyrics, like I can try because I'm a good writer, and I have a good way with words.
That's all you need to do. It's all you need to do is do
But
it.
it's just like not my wheelhouse, dude.
Uh,
But we'll figure it out. We're writing the intro. Matt's got some beautiful music. He plays the piano and the oboe and everything. It's really phenomenal.
the oboe.
You don't have an oboe.
Don't have an oboe.
Step your game up,
We got
man.
a xylophone.
No, this isn't bad, dude. This red monster, it's not bad. It's not
It's
red.
not terrible. It is red.
Is it red?
Yeah. You gonna pour it out? It's red.
It's hard to tell.
It's red.
It's hard to
Trust
tell.
me, I poured it into a glass
Yeah,
before.
it's red.
I got fancy. Pinky's out. It's good.
It tastes pretty good.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad for zero calorie.
That tastes way better than the
try the white one. You gotta try the white one.
Yeah,
the white one's much better.
I'll be honest, man. So I'm on this keto diet, which we could talk more about this episode. That's now been my actual first full week, so we could talk about it later if we want to. But on this diet, so I'm trying to cut out sugar. Now you know this, but not everyone knows this. And I used to drink regular Monsters. They're 54 grams of sugar a can, which is a no-no on this diet. That's way too. That's like twice your daily intake you should have, like optimally.
Yeah.
So I had to cut that out, but I've been drinking the light blue ones, the low-carb ones that I used to drink anyway back in the day before you fucking contaminated me again with the green Monster.
The green one's the best.
It is the best one. It tastes so good.
It's like it's like gasoline going down. That first sip is like it just hurts, but in a good way.
Yes.
But continue.
So I said, okay, well, I'm going to go to the low-carb Monsters. So as opposed to 54 grams of sugar, they only have 7, which is acceptable for me. I'm like, if I do one of those a day and I continue, like, pretty much everything else I eat is, like, no carbs or maybe 1 or 2 carbs, I'm hitting my limit of, like, no sugar, no carbs, okay? Mm-hmm. But the problem with the light blue one is it tastes like dick. I don't like the way it tastes now because I'm so accustomed to the green version, the regular version. So I just bought this red one today. I'm drinking it, and it's pretty good. Tastes better than the blue one, so I'm gonna just drink these.
I will say,
and it has less. It has less.
Yeah, it
sugar.
has less everything.
It's only got 2 grams of sugar.
There's probably way more chemicals in it, but like,
more chemicals.
But like, I think the reason why the 0 calorie ones taste way better is because it's not trying to imitate the green one. It's just trying to be its own thing.
It's trying to be its own 0 calorie.
Yeah, that's why
drink.
the blue one sucks so much, is because it's trying to be as close to the green one as possible.
Yeah.
But there's like some stevia bullshit in it, so like it just doesn't taste similar.
Yeah.
It's like that one and the import, the one with like the little twist, twist top, and you have to peel the sticker off. That one, I don't know. That one's. It's supposed to be real sugar, I think. That's what's called import. It's not corn syrup. But that one tastes a little funky. That one's flat. It's weird. That one's weird to drink.
The only sugar in it supposedly is a gram of erythritol.
Sounds healthy.
Well, erythritol is a natural sugar.
Yeah, it sounds healthy.
It doesn't sound healthy. It sounds fucking like a chemical, dude. Everything else, though, I can't name any of this shit. I mean, you got, well, we got ginseng extract and sorbate, potassium, sodium benzoate, sucralose, just in the
when you can't pronounce the things. Yeah, when you can't pronounce the things in your product, you probably shouldn't be consuming it. But
yeah, but hey, it's low sugar, man.
Hey, if that's like, what are you eating all week? I'm sure it's not that bad. Like that's like the one bad thing you're doing.
No, that's why I don't mind drinking a low carb Monster, a little bit of sugar, because I'm eating like insanely good shit all week now. So, like, having a little bit of fucking chemicals that might give me cancer, it's fine. Just a little bit. It's like secondhand smoke. Like, you can't get mad at, like, walking through a puff of smoke outside one time a week. It just happens, dude. It's like, what does Mama always say? A little bit of dirt.
Don't hurt.
Don't hurt.
A little bit of dirt. I don't know. It depends on where you get that dirt from.
Yeah.
All the fracking that's going on.
There's a lot of different kinds of dirt.
Depending on where you're at in the country, you could have a rough time eating dirt.
That's true.
It could be real bad for you. Looks like you're about to say something.
No, I'm not saying nothing. Nothing's being said.
I looked like there was somebody on.
No, nobody's on. Anyway, so anything new this week, Matt?
Other than the Super Bowl and the Red Wings still losing.
Red Wings are still losing?
Yeah.
When does the hockey season begin and end? Because I have no clue.
It's gonna end soon. So I think it ends in like April. Because I think the Stanley Cup Finals in June. But the Red Wings, for people that don't know or don't pay attention to hockey, the Red Wings have one of the most impressive professional records. They have made it to, I think, 25 straight playoff appearances. And it doesn't look like we're going to make it to the playoffs this year, which is a good thing. I mean,
it's got to happen every once in a while.
Because, like, if your only goal is to make it to the playoffs and not win, not make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, just don't go. Because just rebuild. If you're just trying to be good enough to keep that streak alive, like, I don't give a fuck about the streak. It was cool for a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, like we're the greatest professional sports team of all time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're not winning. Like, we've won 4 cups in that time frame. So it's like it doesn't matter to me.
They're like old faithful, man. They're like the old faithful of hockey. The Red Wings are. But I don't know. There's really no there's no consequence to negative consequence, right? Because you can have a positive consequence. There's no negative consequence to just continually trying to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, there is. You lose
what?
You lose draft picks.
That's true. But you can't.
You don't want your team to just completely bank, but like at the same time, when it comes to the off season, you don't want to like not make big acquisitions. So
Right.
like if you're like, oh, we don't want to get rid of any of our good players to kind of rebuild the team because we want to keep the streak alive.
Yeah.
That means you're keeping the same players around. So you're keeping that same stagnant vibe
Yeah, it makes
with
sense.
the team.
It
So
makes sense.
there are negative consequences to making it to the playoffs because you think that you're one move away, but realistically, with what the Red Wings have been doing lately, they're too loyal to their players.
Yeah.
It sucks because with I don't know if it's with other teams, if any other professional team is like this. I think it might just be that I see it because it's my team, so it's just the way it is. But franchises are too loyal to their players. Like they keep guys around way too long, guys that don't produce. And you see that with the Red Wings. You see that with their goaltending. You see that with their management. I mean, you see with like Detroit Tigers, they keep in their manager, Brad Ausmus. He hasn't won.
Yeah.
Like, I understand when you have like a superstar player, it's one like you don't want to get rid of
You
him.
want to take care of him, man.
But you can't have a top-heavy team. Like you see the teams that win, that go to the Super Bowl or go to the Stanley Cup Finals or the NBA Finals. It's a well-rounded team, with the exception of like Cleveland Cavaliers, which is LeBron essentially. But
They've got a couple good players, but I
but
see the point.
that's like the anomaly. Like
Yeah.
usually, like Michael Jordan didn't start winning until he had a team around him. Like you can't do it, and that's where the Red Wings are at. Kind of, we have like a couple real good first line players, and then after that, it's just depressing. It's depressing.
Yeah, I never thought about the consequence of being the type of team that's like gone to the playoffs. Like if you go to the playoffs every year, but you like don't win championships, or you don't even win like your division. If you just always like first round playoffs at least like every year. I never thought that like, oh yeah, like that seems sweet. It seems like you're a powerful team, but like if you spend 20 years going to the playoffs, like you're not getting draft picks. You're getting end of the fucking draft picks, and that does suck because, and it's good. The reason it is that way is to not have one team be a franchise and win the championship every year. Because if you're the number one team, you shouldn't deserve the best draft pick. So it makes sense that they set it up that way. But I never thought about kind of like the man in the middle that's kind of just getting to the playoffs, kind of just making it there, and you think, oh, that's good, they made it to the playoffs. But like, oh yeah, you made it to the playoffs, you're getting the late picks. Yeah. And then you don't think about that, and that probably is something that's definitely plagued the Red Wings because
I think it plagues a lot of teams,
Yeah.
and it stems from management down. Because if your management is okay with it, then your team might make it and make a run. But if you look at the odds of that happening with the management in place, it's not going to happen very frequently. You look at the New England Patriots, the team that's in the Super Bowl. They're a well-rounded team, and like a lot of people don't like their defense because they're like a bend not break type of defense. So they're not a shutdown defense, but they're not going to let you score a lot of points. The one player that they have is Tom Brady. That's it. So like in football, you can afford to have like a superstar.
Yeah.
And the rest of your team is kind of like
usually it's quarterbacks,
but it's
one of the three,
coached real well. So and that's from management down. Like that's where you see what a good owner does.
Yeah.
He knows the players, knows if a player asks for too much money. It doesn't matter if he has Super Bowl aspirations.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we don't want you because we know we can get somebody else, and we're okay with it. Whereas a team like the Red Wings, even though it's a different sport, they're like, oh, we don't want to like, we don't want to upset the team. We don't want to break the chemistry.
Yeah, it's more of a community than it is a business for the Detroit hockey. Which is great in some ways, but it does have its it does have bad effects on the wins, and on the legacy that. But I never thought, like, I wonder how much the difference is, if there's a significant difference. I mean, it's obviously significant, but I want to know the numbers of like if you're an owner a sports team, it's all business,
Mm-hmm.
and really ultimately all you're trying to do is make as much money every season as possible.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, I know when you win a championship, you get more money. Most of the time, your organization's making money off of ticket sales, off of merchandise and things of that nature. I wonder what the difference is. If you're like somebody like who's making it, let's say a team that makes it to the playoffs, 5 years in a row but doesn't get a championship versus somebody who gets like 3 championships in the same 5 years. I wonder how much more money that organization makes, because they're probably paying more money for their players, millions of dollars more.
No, there's a salary cap, so everybody's paying the same amount.
You think everyone's paying the same?
Yeah, I mean, some people are 20 million under the salary cap, but that's in expectations to spend that money. So they're all generally paying the same amount of money for the players. That's,
generally.
That's what the cap means.
It's not a significant difference.
But it's regionally where your team is located. It's the history of your team. It's the heritage. So you look at a team. The Dallas Cowboys is a perfect example. They're not gonna. They didn't make it to the Super Bowl. They probably still made way more money than almost all the teams. I think they're Forbes' highest earning NFL team.
Okay.
And they haven't won a Super Bowl in fucking forever, since the mid '90s. And they make more money than teams that have probably gone to the Super Bowl. Like, you got the Carolina Panthers, now that they have Cam Newton, but like Dallas Cowboys would probably make more money than I think any team in the league.
Yeah.
Even if Jacksonville Jaguars went to the Super Bowl 3 straight years in a row, because where they're at in Florida, they're not. I don't think they would make as much money as Dallas Cowboys not making it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I wonder where all the sources of income, because that's like, I'm sorry, I keep saying like a lot because I'm imagining, right? I'm using my imagination. I'm trying to figure out what are all the different sources of income that a team has,
Okay, so
because they're not getting income from their players directly, because they're paying their players shit tons of money. So their income, it has to be off of merchandise, ticket sales. So obviously,
ticket sales are a big one.
If obviously, the bigger the arena, the more money you're gonna make.
It's a weird thing with fans attending a real game, because if you don't sell out, you're blacked out in your region. So there was a little brief moment in Detroit's history where if you don't sell out, which is 80% of your ticket sales, that's considered a sellout.
Yeah.
So it's not like the stadium's
100%. Yeah.
So if you don't hit that 80% mark, you can't watch them on TV in your region. Everybody else in the country can, but it's sort of a discipline. You're being disciplined because you didn't sell.
By who, though? That's
the
crazy,
NFL. The
man.
NFL.
Oh, wow.
NFL made this rule. So one of the sources of income is, I think the biggest source is the TV deal. Your region. That's why the LA Dodgers make so much money, because the LA is such a big market.
Yeah.
That they're able to have so much money. They make $200 million or something stupid like that just from their TV market. I mean, that's where you're gonna get when TV deals go up. When the league signs a new contract with whatever the TV networks are, that's when you see the salary cap raise. So that's I think the biggest income that you get is TV. It's TV ratings, because you can only get maybe 60,000 people into a professional stadium.
Yeah, which amounts. I mean,
if you're paying $100 per ticket, it's not really that much money. Not compared to the people that are going to watch TV.
That's true.
It's millions of people that are going to watch it, and they're going to all pay for it on cable, because you ain't.
Yo, Swore to Defend, welcome to the stream. Sorry, I didn't want to break Matt's concentration. Thank you for showing up. We got Twitch viewers, like we said. If you guys are listening to this on iTunes, come shout out and put in your 2 cents about the conversation. Yeah, you can pretty much mark up, right? You can mark like the 5 ways they make money, probably.
Okay.
Right, including the TV deal, merchandise, ticket sales directly, advertising generally, billboards and things of that nature. Their players, I'm sure when their players do commercials and stuff, they probably like for instance when LeBron does a commercial, like all the Sprite commercials he was doing.
That's directly.
I'm sure the NBA gets a lot profit. No,
No.
I'm sure that's in their contract. That has to be.
That's why LeBron can make $20 million because NBA's their salary cap is ridiculously low.
Yeah.
Like LeBron makes maybe
Not to me, bro. Put me on the bench.
Well, yeah, like LeBron's making about $25 million or something in that ballpark.
Yeah.
The reason why he's able to be as big as he is and have ownership, I think, into Manchester United.
Yeah, he did.
The football team.
Yeah, I think so.
Is because of his deals outside. Like when Sprite goes to LeBron and says, "We wanna have you in a commercial," that's all his money. That's not going to the NBA.
Yeah, I just don't.
That's why you don't see him. That's why you don't see them wearing their jerseys
and stuff.
Because if they did, then they would have to.
Yeah,
pay the
well,
NBA.
there are ads. I can't name one off the rip, but there are plenty of ads where famous athletes will be wearing like their get up, and I imagine that money has to go towards the organization.
a certain percentage.
You know what I'm
you're
saying?
right.
But for instance, I just saw a Shaquille O'Neal. Well, not just, but I remember a Shaquille O'Neal ad. Now he's retired anyway, but it was for the hot and cold patch, whatever the hell that patch is. Icy hot patch.
Yep.
And he's wearing a basketball jersey, but it's just a generic ass basketball jersey.
That's why it'll be the colors of whatever team.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
sponsor. You are right though, because endorsement deals do have a large revenue of income for teams. That's why you see stadiums named after Heinz. You have Heinz Field in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You have Gillette Stadium, which is in New England. You have the RCA Dome, or I think that's what it was called in Indianapolis before. You have the Staples Center in LA for the Lakers.
Yeah.
They make a lot of fucking money off that. And that's a per year thing. And then you see the little on basketball courts, you see the little sponsors on the actual court.
Yeah.
Or in hockey, you see them on the boards. Football, they make so much money from their TV deals and from the stadium that you very rarely see. I don't think there's advertisements allowed on the field.
No, but then the halftime shows are like Pepsi halftime show or something like that. So yeah, I suppose I didn't think about sponsors because that's the thing is there's got to be a lot of routes of income.
Yeah.
For sports organizations.
But those are the major ones. It's TV deals and endorsement deals. All of the other things, it doesn't make you as much money because you're only making whatever for attendance 8 games. You're only making 8 games. Like those 8 games are not going to pay for like one. It's not going to pay for Tom Brady's salary.
Right. Makes sense.
So
okay. So now that we brought up football, who do you got in the Super Bowl tomorrow?
New England.
New England? Okay, so tell me, who do you... Okay, because there's a significant difference in who do you want to win and who do you think is going to win. Like, who are you rooting,
I want New England to win because Tom Brady's a Michigan man.
Okay.
But I think that New England's going to win. The reason being is that it's Atlanta's first time in the Super Bowl since the 90s. Tom Brady's been here before. He's gone through all of the circus, the media circus that goes through. And... professional sports, I think a lot of it is just how composed can you stay during the game. And I think Tom is going to be better at that than Matt Ryan, which is the Atlanta Falcons quarterback. I think he's only lost to Eli Manning and the Giants because this is his 6th Super Bowl. He's the previous 5, he won 3, lost 2. 2 were to New York Giants. He's never lost to anybody else.
That's true.
So... Andy, I mean, the last time they won the Super Bowl, they won it off of a defensive play, a defensive interception to win the game. I think it's Tom Brady. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, which is crazy to say because the dude is going to go down as the all-time greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really argue it. People want to say Joe Montana, but I don't think
once he's retired, he'll be considered. That's the thing about athletes is like until they like retire, everybody's like, well, he's not as good as this guy. And it's like once he retires and you can look at his numbers and really analyze what he did and the time that he played, that's when you can assess whether or not he's the greatest and stuff.
I think the biggest argument they can make for Tom Brady is Tom Brady didn't have Jerry Rice.
Tom Brady didn't. You heard it here first, folks. He didn't have Jerry Rice. I know what you mean. They had like a rotating team. It's just Tom Brady's the constant. I mean, there's a few other. I mean, there's plenty of backs, I guess, that they've had for multiple years, and you've got Gronkowski has been there a long time, but yeah, I mean, he doesn't have like one staple wide receiver, but he had somebody, didn't he have?
I mean, he had Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, yeah.
Deion Moss is a different player.
Yeah, I know.
He had Randy Moss for a season, and it was crazy because in that season he broke. What you have to see what record. I think he broke the all-time touchdowns record with 49 touchdowns in a year, something stupid, or 30 something.
I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up.
I'll look it up.
So I'm really torn with the Super Bowl this year because I mean, for one, I don't follow that closely, so I don't have favorites in the NFL. But I'm torn between the two teams because my argument for the Patriots is I really like Tom Brady to win. I'd like the Patriots to win because I love seeing legendary stats. I love seeing the best, as you say, maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. I love seeing that person continue to put up numbers. Like when Brett Favre, his last season in Green Bay, he's putting up he's breaking lots of records, and I was just fucking rooting for him because I love seeing that. I think we have a lot of football fans have a great opportunity to watch Tom Brady right now.
Yeah.
And you might not even realize it because you might hate him. A lot of people hate him and the Patriots.
It's similar to the Casey Neistat video selling out. People are just jealous.
People are jealous and hate him and hate the team because they want their team to win. And I get it, but you need to also understand as a fan, if you're a fan of sports, if you're a fan of football, if you're a fan of competition, fucking watch this team and watch them play. It's stunning, the stats they put up. So on one side, I want them to win.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yes, more Super Bowls. Please, do it. That's awesome. But then I'm like, okay, I'd really like Atlanta to win because they put up some crazy stat last week or 2 weeks ago when I was coming back from New York. I was at the airport watching Atlanta versus Green Bay. I was like, they put up some stat about how Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, hasn't won a championship since 1990, and it was the Braves.
Yeah.
No other organization has won a championship. I think they said 60 combined seasons of all their pro teams.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
And so I'm like, dude, I want them to bring that shit home to Atlanta because that the whole state of Georgia is fucking pumped. Georgia's a huge football state. It's the South. They play football. That's what they do.
Yeah, I don't care about that though.
But it's it's
the underdog. I get it.
I'm torn.
I know what you're saying.
Because it's history for them too. So it's history on both sides. This isn't the most spectacular Super Bowl or the most spectacular game. I don't want to say, oh, this Super Bowl is going to go down as legendary, but it is history for both sides. Patriots are continuing to make history. Every game they win is history, basically. And then Atlanta's trying to bring their fucking city a championship. So I'm rooting kind of for both sides. I think when game time comes, I'll be more inclined to see Atlanta win. Mm-hmm. But I do love watching Tom Brady.
See, I don't like other teams winning before the Lions. The Lions are in a crazy drought. The Lions haven't won since '57.
Yeah,
it'd
be nice to see them
before it was even the NFL. We won the World Championship. It wasn't. There was no. It was before the NFL AFL merger. So
Atlanta's never won a championship either.
And I don't care. That's the thing. The only reason I want to see. Not the only reason, but one of the biggest reasons I want to see New England do it because I just want to see greatness.
Right.
You're talking about seeing a player that you only see once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
You only see one Michael Jordan. People can argue LeBron's better, but there's only one Michael Jordan.
Kobe, yeah. A lot of people argue Kobe.
But they're saying he's the Michael Jordan of something.
Right,
that only comes because there was a Michael Jordan. And Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's after Tom Brady retires, you're going to say he's the Tom Brady of this. Because Tom Brady's doing something that is insanely difficult.
Isn't he going for the most?
It'd be most Super Bowl. Well, no,
he'd be tied right now.
No, he'd be tied for most Super Bowl wins. Joe Montana has 4. Tom Brady would be going for 4. And Tom Brady, the record that I was talking about with Randy Moss was he scored 50 touchdowns in a season, one single season.
No, Tom's got 4.
Does he?
And Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana got 4. So if Tom Brady won this Super Bowl, he'd have the most Super Bowls. At least out of quarterbacks ever.
Wait, what are the
Active?
four?
Wait, what?
What are the four? Name the four.
I don't know. I can't name them. It just has it up.
I think I may have been wrong when I said Jerry Rice because I don't know if Jerry Rice was actually playing when Joe Montana was.
Yeah, he's won 4 and he's lost 2.
He played. So Jerry Rice played from '87 to 2009. Joe Montana.
So anyway, so basically, so now that I know that number, I'm kind of more interested in the Patriots winning because I would love to see Tom Brady win his fifth Super Bowl, which make him the quarterback at least. I don't know about other players. This is just quarterback stats. Quarterback with the most Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He would have 5. That's a stat that's going to be around for a while. So that's a number that I'd like to see him reach.
That's an insane amount.
He's tied with 2 people.
When you think about it, a quarterback's career, Peyton Manning didn't even stay. He hasn't been around as long as Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's a little bit older, but let's say 20 seasons. You're going on 20 seasons. You win 5 Super Bowls.
That's pretty spectacular.
You win 5 Super Bowls. Dude, every 4 years you're winning a fucking Super Bowl. That's an insane statistic.
When most people will play 20 years and never
You've gone to 6.
Yeah.
Or no,
this would be 7.
7. You'll have gone to 7. So that means in a 20-year span, almost every 3 years you've gone to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Think about that. Just think about how hard it is for the Lions haven't gone to one since 57. Tom Brady has gone to one every 3 years.
50 is that 60 years?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. If Tom Brady was around as long as the Lions haven't been to the Super Bowl, he'd have at least 8 Super Bowl wins. 8 to 10. And they got none. And he's just one dude.
Yeah, he's just one fucking dude.
So yeah, I guess the Super Bowl is significant.
It's very significant.
It is significant because it would be Tom Brady's 5th, which would make him the number 1 quarterback of all time.
And he wants to. You think that?
Oh, he's gonna win.
They're
gonna win.
And part of it is you think that. Okay, he's like a privileged Super Bowl player. He's been to it so many times. Like how much could he actually care? But in actuality, he was suspended for the first 4 games of the year.
Yeah. Because
of Roger Goodell. Granted, Deflategate was a weird thing. It's multiple times that the Patriots have been caught cheating.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady technically didn't do anything. Technically,
right?
They got him because they wanted to make him a poster boy, and that chip is on his fucking shoulder. Roger Goodell didn't go to the AFC Championship game, and the commissioner goes to all the championship games. He's the one that presents the trophy.
Really? So Goodell didn't want to go to the game. Why?
I think because he didn't want to have to give Tom Brady the trophy because they're trying to punish him. They're trying to punish the Patriots for the second time. The first one was Spygate, which is they got caught for stealing signals. Like, I keep saying like. I got to stop that shit.
Yeah, it's okay. Me too.
They got caught for stealing signals, hand signals, lip reading, that kind of stuff.
All that secret shit.
Yeah, and that passed. I think they got some sort of punishment. I can't remember. Nothing big. This year, it was Deflategate, or this is when Tom Brady got in trouble for it. So Deflategate was that...
That was a fucking while ago, too.
There was a couple pounds of pressure that got deflated out of a football. The football was still inflated, but it just allows for a little bit better grip in the cold.
Right.
And the only reason it was found out was because...
it was an email or something, right?
No. So... Tom Brady threw an interception, and when you throw an interception, each team has its own set of balls. Right. So, like, the Patriots have 6 balls, Colts have 6 balls. When you intercept the ball, that's a Patriot ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the Colt defender had it.
Yeah,
he's like, oh shit, this doesn't feel like our balls.
Yeah.
No homo.
Pause.
So it got investigated. They have surveillance of an equipment manager going into a locker room and coming out.
Deflating.
And they think it deflated it, and they have text messages from Tom Brady to the equipment manager that did it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of incriminating, but it was never explicitly said. It was kind of It was more of like, hey.
It's kind of assumed, man.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, I know that shit. Like it maybe it's almost pretty obvious that he did it and then that happened. But honestly, it doesn't have that huge of an effect. You know, it might get you an extra catch or two, but like realistically, these fucking receivers are so good at catching the ball anyway. It's a minimal amount. But they have to take it serious. It's the same with the cork and baseball bats and shit like that. They have to take it serious.
Mythbusters prove that the cork doesn't work.
Yeah, actually, the concept behind it like still gets you fucking suspended. So I don't know. Like the thing I was gonna say is that it's incredible that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, didn't go to the game. Probably, like you said, because he didn't want to like give the trophy to Tom Brady and to the team. He's the fucking commissioner, man.
Yeah.
And it says something about their team that Tom didn't even play 4 games and they're still in the Super Bowl. And Tom's going to probably win the Super Bowl and become the greatest quarterback of all time.
Those 4 games that they won, they had backup quarterback. They had their second string quarterback and then their third string quarterback, and they still won 3 out of those 4 games.
Yeah.
And after that, those wins, people were talking about Bill Belichick as going down as the greatest coach ever.
Right.
Because Bill Belichick is a part of this too. Bill Belichick is equally as important as Tom Brady.
Right, we've talked about this.
I don't know if that goes hand in hand with winning, because you look at the 49ers with Joe Montana and Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh is considered possibly the greatest coach of all time. Joe Montana, a lot of people think that he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's always going to be the case when you have a championship winning team. If the coach and the quarterback are some sort of link, and no matter what, no matter, well, let's say you have a quarterback that does all of the work and the coach is just getting the credit for it. Nobody knows the extent of how much it influences the player, and how much a player is being influenced by the coach. But after that 4-game win streak, it's safe to say that
the coach has a huge effect.
And there was a previous season where Tom Brady didn't play at all because he had to get surgery, and they won like 10 or 12 games, which is super fucking hard with the backup quarterback. That quarterback, and they know that it was Bill Belichick that won those games because Matt Castle, that backup quarterback that won.
Well, Castle was a good quarterback anyway.
He was a good quarterback in the Patriots. He got picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs and didn't do shit.
Bad coaching.
He still doesn't do shit. It's not bad coaching. It's just he was coached up and put in a position by Bill Belichick in a position to win.
Yeah.
It's the culture. It's as much of the culture. And Tom Brady, he feeds off of having a chip on his shoulder, which is hard to find.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow what happens. When's the game? Do you know?
It's going to be late. It's probably going to be like 7 or 8.
Try to watch it with you. I don't know. Where are you trying to watch it? Where?
Yeah, we can go watch it as long as we don't got to watch it at Leo's Coney Island.
Yeah, that's the thing about going out. Do they do this shit where you have to go out to watch it? That's the only thing I should have cable for, is just for big events like that.
You can get the Sling Box. We might be able to go to Darren's house. We can go to Darren's.
Yeah, maybe we can go to Darren's.
Darren,
because I'd like to not go to the bar.
I think he has Channel 2. Yeah, he has Channel 2. So, because he has a Sling Box. You know what a Sling Box is?
No, what's a Sling Box?
It's like for $10 a month. It's like same price as Netflix or something. You get this box, and as far as I know, I think this is what they did. You'd have to investigate a little bit more, but they pick their channels, like a certain amount of channels that they get for like $8 or $10 a month, and they get that. They just
you get your own custom package. Yeah, it's like the Roku stick kind of.
It looks like Wi-Fi, but because
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I understand the concept. When we moved away, I feel bad because I feel like our podcast has turned into a sports podcast. So I'm trying to.
It's just a big time in sports.
We turned into a sport. It is a big time in sports.
There's a lot of big things happening in sports.
So if you guys are listening, you don't like sports, sorry. Try to appreciate it. Don't rage at us.
Well, the last couple of podcasts we talked exclusively about politics and video games.
We did. Last podcast was, I guess you're right. I just don't want to, like, dude, we're going to turn into, like, Mike and Mike, right, in the morning, just fucking talking about sports all the time.
Mike and Mike.
Because I'm slowly, like, more interested in sports because, like, it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway, about the, what is it called?
Slingbox.
So in regards to the Slingbox, when I moved out, you know what the Roku TV is, right?
Nope.
Okay, so when I was moving out of Maggie and DJ's house to come to this apartment,
Okay.
excuse me, maybe I shouldn't have said both their names.
Yeah,
I was
you
moving out of my
probably
previous house.
Probably shouldn't have.
It doesn't matter. When I was moving out of my previous house, I had the Xbox, which had Netflix and Hulu and everything on it, and that's what they were watching TV with. I let them just keep that in the living room, and they watched TV on that shit. So when I decided to move out, and I said, "Hey, I'm taking my Xbox," they went out and bought a Roku TV app or a Roku stick. And what it is it's just like it looks like a little USB, right? It's about the size of a USB or whatever. It has a little remote. You plug it into your TV or into your computer, and it has those apps. It has Amazon. I think it's an Amazon product, but it has Netflix. So you pay $10 a month or something.
Okay.
And you have all these different subscriptions to Hulu and Netflix and things of that nature. All the different apps they have available.
So
That's the idea is like you're paying for the package. You pay for the package that you want. You don't have to and you can watch it all at any time.
Do you still? So if it has Hulu and Netflix, do you have to?
You don't have to. In addition,
you don't have
pay.
to have it. Okay, no. Extra. Okay.
So you're basically getting the subscriptions to those services on a discount, like because if you were to get all of those services, it's probably $30-$40 a month for everything provided. But if you just buy the Roku stick or whatever, it's $10 a month or something. So they get like some sort of cheap business deal with these other companies so that you can just watch it all together. And that's the idea is that companies are trying to come up with these things like that box that Darren has and the Roku the stick or whatever. All these different things where you can just buy them and watch the shit you want to watch instead of watching cable TV and having to tune in at 9 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wonder like how long it's going to be until we really get to watch just about anything we want whenever we want, i.e. the Super Bowl, you know, because big events, particularly with sports, we're talking about sports, games like the Super Bowl, they thrive off of using that primetime slot. They get a lot of money to run those ads during that primetime slot, and I wonder when it's going to evolve to be more free, and it's not going to be just at, you know, whatever time, 9 p.m. on Sunday, where we can just all tune in on our own platform via like a website or via whatever. It'd be kind of like having pay-per-view, but on any device you want, at any time you want. Like when is live TV going to become obsolete, or when is live TV going to become mobile? That's really
We're going mobile.
Because it's got to happen.
It's gonna. That was I think it was Joe Rogan's podcast, or maybe it was The Fighter and the Kid, and they were talking about. No, it was the very last podcast I think Joe did. They were talking about how the transition from radio to television, there was a lot of struggle, and the people in radio became irrelevant because TV.
Oh, I remember this conversation.
because TV became. I mean, that's happening now. Like. Yeah. You don't need to have a TV to be entertained anymore. I almost exclusively don't use TV unless there's like a sporting event like this. And if I wanted to, I could just somehow get it on the internet.
Right.
You don't need TV anymore.
Yeah.
And TV's a dying thing. You don't need it. You have all these sources of entertainment now. So you're right. There's going to be a point at some time in the future where TV is completely irrelevant and it's just going to be a fucking computer. And you're going to be able to pick what you want to listen to. And it's what's weird is it going to be censored? Are there going to start to be censors? Because you have YouTube where they just came out with whatever it is to kind of restrict their users from saying certain things because of advertisements and stuff like that.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a complicated scenario, but yeah.
You know more about it.
Right.
Hopefully that doesn't happen across the internet, or hopefully it doesn't come to the point where we have that, what was it? It was like last year when they were trying to make the internet
like censor the internet.
Not censor, but when they were going through and talking about allowing people to have more data being sent out, so you have faster connections. So certain websites would run faster than other ones.
It's
essentially
putting
like
an embargo on the shitty parts of the internet.
It's essentially like having a big business say, we want the fastest connection, so if you want to watch our shit, it's going to be flawless. And then for the people starting out, it's going to be real shitty. So you're going to be inclined to watch whatever the more polished is.
There was a word for it.
Yeah.
Actually, the head, this is slightly off topic, but the head of that organization that was pulling for that, I guess that plan, if you want to call it, Trump actually elected him, I believe, as at the head of the FCC. So that guy has power, the guy that was proposing that. So I can't remember the word because it's called the internet something or other. I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, yeah, I think it's pretty apparent that, you know, the transition we're having right now from TV to internet, or even you know, just slower forms of entertainment, movie theaters / TV / live events versus the internet, is the same transition we had from, you know, radio to TV. And I think it is true that, like, TV people, TV organizations that work on the schedule, these TV networks, they're going to die out unless they invest in internet. And that's why you see CNN, for instance, trying to come together with Casey Neistat to kind of move into the new world, right? And you're seeing this happening because that transition is happening. I think it's obviously inevitable. And because the internet's fucking perfect, it's the greatest thing that could possibly exist. You know, the only thing that could be better than the internet, really, in innovation is, as far as tools go, is maybe artificial intelligence. But that's a conversation we have. You know, it's a big conversation. So the internet's a big fucking deal. So everybody's gonna move to the internet, especially now that literally anybody can put shit on the internet. We're over here talking on our podcast. I've got a YouTube channel and Twitch streams and all this shit. It's so easy to just put content on the internet, and it's very, very inexpensive for the average person to consume. It's essentially free. So we're seeing the transition. I wonder like, when specifically will big games and big events move solely to the internet? Because you've already seen a lot of organizations move solely to the internet. You've already seen a lot of constructs basically move solely to the internet, i.e., pretty much everybody watches their TV shows and their movies. I'd say pretty much everybody that's younger than 40, when they have a TV show they want to watch, let's say, oh, I heard Breaking Bad's a good show, I want to watch Breaking Bad, or I want to watch Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Well, Stranger Things is an exclusive, but they go get Netflix. They watch it, they binge watch it, because you can, every episode you just watch it on Netflix. Nobody stays around and watches a show every Sunday.
Yeah.
Old people do. But people don't, because it just makes way more sense to watch on the internet from an archive.
Yeah.
So that's already gone. That's the internet now. The people that are still, like, playing, you know, TV channels that still have, like, their weekly shows, it's because their network is still huge. Like, NBC has all these shows, like, hey, catch us on Sunday, you know, some fucking shitty show. What do they call them? What do they call sitcoms? Sitcoms still exist because the companies that create them have so much money, they just keep making them.
Situational comedies.
Yeah. But that ship's fucking sailed, dude. Like, the best way to consume weekly television is by watching it in order on the internet. It's just the way it is.
The crazy part is, you don't even need to have money. You don't have to have big studios to make content anymore. You see YouTubers with absolutely no budget. You listed Casey Neistat as one of the people. He doesn't have a budget. Like, he gets paid now to make YouTube videos, but as long as you have people that are interested in what the fuck you're seeing, he has no boss to go to.
Yeah.
He has to follow whatever the restrictions that YouTube allow. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, he doesn't have to. There's nobody in charge of him. If he wants to make a video of him taking a crap and doing an interview all day,
just do it.
Yeah,
probably be detrimental to his image.
Maybe,
but
you never know. You never know. It's weird though, because you don't want to see these big companies come in, like CNN and all this kind of stuff, start to have their hand in content. CNN is rated as like one of the least credible news sources to get to get. Fox News is right up there as like dog shit.
I don't think CNN's that bad.
It's rated
compared to like Fox News.
Somebody put together a list of the least credible news sources, and CNN is one of the worst.
I know Fox.
Washington
is
Post
really gross.
was real good. The Wall Street Journal is number one, I think, because when you're dealing with Wall Street, they can't. We're talking about bias, a bias of information.
Right.
And Wall Street can't have a bias because it's strictly business. If there's a bias in either direction, that could fuck up the market. And they can't have that. So they have to have the least amount of bias in their things to be able to run. So when you're talking about news sources, that's one of the best ones. So if you have like a dog shit source like CNN or Fox News, and they start getting people that have an audience to follow, I don't know, maybe Casey doesn't have anybody to answer to. He probably has somebody to answer to, but genuinely, it's gonna be weird to see content come out of him for CNN.
Yeah, you don't want to see. The beauty of the internet is it's created a market for entertainment where you don't have to have a boss. You can still be entertaining. You can still create whatever content you want. And luckily, if you do it well and you really just, do it the best, you're going to have a huge following without anyone else's, hand in your pocket or words in your mouth. You can just do what you want to make. And it's been incredible. And that's one of my big things with Twitch and with YouTube, and even now here with this podcast, is that we have the ability now, everybody literally has the ability to say and do anything on the internet. Now, there's positives to this and there's negatives to this. You could be a very positive person. You can have shows where you teach people real facts. You can have positive fucking shows and YouTube channels that work towards building good community and like helping people with problems. But then you've got the weirdos that dance in front of a green screen and like pour cum on their face. This is a real thing that happens. And so there's goods and bads. But the big takeaway is that mainstream media is losing its grip on the average person because so much bullshit comes out of news TV stations. So much bullshit comes out of sitcoms. It's just boring laugh tracks. And now you've got genuine entertainment coming from genuine people pretty much 100% of the time, relatively, right? Like 99% of people on the internet just being genuine. And, when they create content, it's because they want to make it. And it's awesome. It's awesome. So you're already seeing, like I was saying, like you're already seeing the sitcoms kind of being washed out by people watching shit on the internet. You're seeing YouTube stars get huge and stuff like that. Self-made social media stars.
Reality.
It's
reality shows. Yeah.
But the big point I wanted to make that people don't understand is it is incredible that people like Casey Neistat or PewDiePie even, or anybody that's huge on YouTube or huge on the internet, they are literally making these videos and this content on essentially zero budget. Now you can say, people are like, well, that's not true. PewDiePie's a millionaire. His videos, like, he has the best equipment. His computer's $5,000 and his desk is $500. It's like, relatively, even like the richest fucking people on YouTube, for instance, are spending shit money on their productions.
It's a one-time spend,
because you know how much money studios spend on every episode of a show or every movie. It's like huge budgets. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars an episode. And like, just because if you have a $5,000 computer, that doesn't mean you have a huge budget for whatever video you're making.
The biggest argument,
no budget.
the argument you can make is, you look at Casey. We're using Casey. Casey's the biggest.
Casey's a good example.
One of the biggest vloggers. He has 500 something episodes, or 300, or somewhere around that ballpark, 300 to 500, regardless of whatever the number is. That is a lot. So if you were to put that into perspective of a TV show in seasons, a season's maybe 12 episodes, 15 episodes. That's 12 or 15 broadcasted things. I know that his episodes are only 10 minutes and like maybe a show's 30 minutes, so like he's 3 of those. So really it's somewhere around 100 to... So even if 100 shows, he's only doing that off of a budget of whatever it costs to have the camera.
Yeah, and really the camera cost is a one-time cost, and if you...
Well, for him,
he's had multiple cameras, but hypothetically, if you had $1,000 camera, which is a good camera,
yeah,
and you filmed 100 episodes with it, that's $10 an episode. It's nothing. There's no budget there.
That's the budget. And for a big time, big produced sitcom or TV show, whatever it is, it's $1 million. It's millions of dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even that is significantly more than most YouTubers spend.
Yeah.
On the entirety of their channel up to where they're at now.
Yeah.
To where they have gotten from, and they probably have more people watching one episode than a TV show.
Right. Yeah. You get a lot of big YouTubers. They're getting over 1 million views per video, which there could be a lot of people that view it multiple times, but that's still a huge number. That's more than most people are going to watch when a show airs.
Yeah. How many? I mean, when you watch TV show, there's multiple people watching more than likely.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's the same thing.
So it's sort of a revolution that we're going through. It's a long the term revolution. The term revolution is like, it seems really grandiose, but really it's a long-term revolution that's happening. I think that we're seeing where people are really making the move from like standard large company media's controlling what we get to see every day, what we get to interact with every day. And now we've got the internet where we're basically able to interact with whatever we want to do and whatever we want to see. And then as soon as we don't want to see it, we can just straight up, not watch it. And it doesn't hurt us at all. It's not like we're paying, you don't pay a fucking weekly fee for YouTube. You don't pay a monthly fee for YouTube. Like, if you don't want to watch a video, you just stop watching it. See, it's awesome. Matt's peeing right now. I don't know if you can hear him. I should turn up the gain on this mic so you can hear him. Anyway, just want to take a second while Matt's in the bathroom to talk about our iTunes situation. So, we've been getting a decent amount of views as far as I'm concerned. Like 10 views to me is good. You know what I'm saying? 10 listens to me is good. But if you guys are somebody that like listens to the podcast or watches the stream every week, consider giving us a review. It doesn't have to be 5 stars, but just consider giving some advice, giving some feedback, going to our YouTube, maybe giving a comment, something like that. It's we really appreciate it, man. We are trying to continue to grow our content. We are actually just before this particular episode today, we were looking at a new microphone setup that we're trying to do this summer. So if you guys do watch us every week, I just want to say thank you. Matt just got back, so I'm going to stop talking, but I did want to say thank you for listening consistently. We really do appreciate it.
Hopefully we can look back at these like you do your Minecraft videos that you told people not to watch. Hopefully it's like that. We get to a point.
It'll be like that. You'll be surprised. Like when you make content, you're like, okay, this content's good. You're always happy. You always have to be happy about the content you make. You're like, okay, this was pretty good quality. I'm happy about this. But then as you grow and as you get better equipment, you become better at talking, or you become better at doing whatever you're doing, you look back and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude, that content sucked. Man, like I remember when I started my YouTube channel, I was like, okay, these videos, they're not great, but they're pretty good. And then I go back and watch them and I'm just blown away. Like, what was I doing, dude? I don't know. Again, I was younger though. I don't know. I was a young boy.
That's
not true. I was like 20.
The one thing I do think that I think most people need to think about when creating content is doing something original. Now, hopefully we go into a path that is our own.
Yeah,
a lot of people
talk.
podcast sports talk. but I was thinking about this because you have like the bigger podcast that is traditionally like this, but at some point somebody had to come up with the idea of just two dudes talking.
Yeah.
What's the next idea? What is that? Like, what is the next
virtual
form?
Podcasting.
Virtual podcast.
Virtual, dude.
Get the HTC Vive. That's I've been telling
if
Sean.
If you want to listen to us, you got to get the Vive.
Imagine having that like 3D cameras. Like we spend like $1 million on like a camera setup where you're with us.
Yeah, you're sitting in a chair with us, dude. That's hey, don't laugh about that. That could be sweet as fuck. Let's talk about that later because that could be sweet as fuck. Now, that's a huge investment, but can you imagine
The first person.
Oh, dude, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want anyone to steal this idea, dude. I'll talk about it. Listen, mark my word. What's today?
It's the 4th.
It's the 4th of February, 2017. I made this idea just now in my brain.
Yep.
You have podcasts in the future. We're talking next year, 2 years, whatever, where it's virtual reality podcasts. And not only are you listening to us talk, not only do you have the visualizations on YouTube, but you're sitting in a fucking chair in the room with the people podcasting. And you're looking at him, looking at him while he's talking, looking at him while he's talking, and you're turning your chair, and you're in it. You're in the conversation.
Yeah.
That's the fucking future, bro. That's, ugh.
We're
gonna do that.
Live time. See, that's the thing.
We're gonna do that.
That's the hardest thing is to do it live because.
Well, watch out, folks.
Like when you watch things in 3D or 3D virtual reality, everything's already pre-recorded. You can't interact with it. It would be cool to be able to interact with people and be in a conversation, feel like you're in the conversation. If we turn like this and we're facing somebody and like they feel like they're with us. That's some next level stuff.
Yeah, but all I got to do, if we're recording, for instance, a virtual reality stream, and we know, like, okay, we put a chair here or something. Well, it would probably be just like a little stick so that we know where the person's experience can be. We can be talking and then be like, and then like do stuff like this.
Yeah.
While we're making points. And then, like, can you imagine as a listener, like, having, like, Joe Rogan or somebody that you like watching just, like, look over at you and be like, yeah, ketogenic diet's great, right? And, like, look at you and you're just like, yeah, like, that's so enjoyable. Like, all you have to do is fake it a little bit.
And if you're able to interact with a person, see, the one thing that most podcasts don't have is the interaction with the audience live.
Yeah.
You have Facebook Live, which people do, but that's just them talking into a camera. But you don't have, like, discussions. You do, but you don't. It's not real well done. So hopefully we can be the trendsetters to do that.
I mean, I don't want to act like we're going to set trends, but I do. That's why when we talk about being different, like my goal with this podcast, because, dude, I have Twitch streams. I've got YouTube channels. Like, I get how it all works, right? Like, for the most part. My idea with the podcast was, okay, if we're going to just have a general podcast where we're just talking about shit, just random stuff, football and virtual reality, the same shit every week.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we've got to separate ourselves, because if you want to watch a podcast like this, like, we're not the smartest people. It's bro science all day. We've got to have something else that is useful to our audience, to you guys listening. So I said, okay, well, let's fucking stream on Twitch. And it just so happened that Twitch created the IRL thing, which allows people to just stream real life shit. It doesn't have to be about video games.
It's like George Clooney's Perfect Storm.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, this podcast can only get better if we have people coming in, saying hi, giving their opinions on shit we're talking about. If we're bashing Trump, coming in and being like, hey, well, I think Trump's good because this. And then we could talk to you as a listener and really, like, engage in conversation. And so that's why we're streaming on Twitch. And we've had a couple conversations with people that I think it's solid. It's, you know.
Yeah.
But I will say it's been a challenge for me trying to understand the rhythm and pacing of talking to you and then being able to include shit that people say in chat. Because, like, when I stream by myself, I basically, it's very easy to stream on Twitch. The idea is you look at Twitch chat as much as possible. You monitor chat, what people are saying in the chat. And whenever somebody says something, you just read it out loud, and it immediately makes them feel like you're paying attention. It's immediate, you know. So somebody says, hey, I just got home from the zoo. You go, you're playing your game, and you go, oh, hey, Matt, you just got home from the zoo. And then you say something about it if you have a second. But you pretty much have to interact immediately. And so the problem that I've had with our podcast is that I'm trying not to break away from what, you know, from the audio file.
I know what you're trying to say.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can't just immediately stop talking about a conversation and then go over Twitch chat and be like, oh, hey, yeah, this is what you think. And then it'd be...
I got you. I got you.
But I think there's something there, right?
There is.
I think
there's I don't think there's many people doing it.
Yeah.
We'll get better at it, though.
We'll get better.
I mean, we're only not even 10 episodes in.
I think we're getting better, dude.
When we get to 300.
We got better camera angle.
Yeah, we need to get some more guests. I want to have Darren on next week. I told him.
You can do Darren on deck. Yeah.
Darren on deck. Darren's on deck.
Darren's on deck for next week.
He's on deck first. Yeah, so we're gonna have
Darren the
him.
Woodsman.
And Darren knows a lot about hiking, and he has some stories that he could share with us about his adventures in bears and wildlife and things like that. So it'll be interesting to have him on.
We're gonna have to get a chair.
Yeah, we can bring a chair over. It'll be cool. He has a foldable chair.
Okay. Yeah, bring his camping chair.
Yeah, so yeah, we can do that kind of stuff, and hopefully we could start having some interesting guests in different talks to get different perspectives. But yeah,
people do listen to this podcast, believe it or not, and I would reckon there's at least 5 people that do listen to this every week. Now, maybe I'm being a bit cold by just saying that number. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's more people. But
in the future, maybe there's millions. And they came back. They go like, we wanted to start from the beginning and hide to the future, whatever you are.
At the moment,
yeah.
This is our 8th episode. I would say, and there's a reason I'm saying the numbers. I think it's like an unspoken rule. You're not supposed to talk about numbers, but I'm saying them because there's a reason. There's probably about 5 people that aren't just us that listen to this shit every week. Mm-hmm. So I forget that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, like Joe Rogan got 50 million downloads. I'm like, okay, I forget like, okay, there are like dedicated people who do catch us every week, and maybe you don't watch the whole thing, maybe you don't listen to the whole thing, maybe you listen to our thing on iTunes, but you've never checked us out on YouTube. There are people listening to us. And I was streaming by myself on Twitch 2 or 3 days ago, and one of my Twitch followers, he comes to watch me play Overwatch.
Okay.
He's like, hey man, I just listened to last week's podcast, because he does listen every week, and he always comes in and talks about it. He's a smart dude. He's a Russian guy.
Pana Jams?
Lives in Alabama. No, Pana Jams is our fan. That's our fan.
Oh.
Not my fan.
Okay.
So he comes in, and he's a Russian dude that moved to Louisiana. I actually have a funny story about him, but he comes in and he's like, I listened to your episode last week, episode 7, where we made a couple remarks about Russian people, about how because we said something about you can always tell the difference between white people and Russian people because they look like have a shitty life. And he came in, he was like, hey man, I don't like that. He said don't, and I think his problem is there's a language barrier there, so he misunderstands sarcasm a little bit. And he was like, I don't appreciate that. We don't all have shitty lives in Russia. Like Russia. He said Russia was pretty sweet actually. And so to you, man, if you're listening to the stream now, I already apologized to him, but I want to apologize on behalf of both of us, because we were just talking shit about Russia, but I forget that affects people. And he literally was listening by himself, probably at work or whatever, thinking, hey, who are these motherfuckers?
He's getting fired up. He's like...
So, you already heard me apologize if you're listening to this podcast. Matt, please apologize for your derogatory comments.
I apologize for your hard-ass life that you've lived.
Yo, Nomi.
No.
Speaking of listeners, Nomi, welcome to the Twitch stream. See, there's the problem with streaming on Twitch. That's actually a fine example, is that people will say hi in our chat, and then we can't get to them immediately all the time.
Oh.
So, hopefully you're here. Hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. Anyway, this all started because you were taking a piss, and I just wanted to take the time out to say thanks, because even if there's only 5 people or 10 people, we fucking appreciate you, bro. Yeah, give us a 5-star review.
We appreciate you. It helps us out.
It does help, and it's cool, and it's one of those, like, this podcast project, it's one of those things that, like, we can do for years, because it's once a week. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll start doing twice a week someday, but whatever. I'm very excited to move into this new house and get a good office, though.
Get the new desk. Yeah. Get a new desk set up, which, we'll keep that under wraps.
Keep that under wraps.
Because when we have it, it'll be cool to release.
Yeah, man.
That's to come.
No, you gotta hype it up.
I do have some knowledge that I want to drop. as Brian Callen would say. But I don't want to drop it yet because I want to make sure that I have like all of the things. It's maybe I think I'm gonna try to get it all.
Podcast advice?
Yeah, no, not advice,
Life
but like
advice?
no, not just things to talk, topics to talk about.
Topics? Okay.
But I want to make sure that I have all my facts right. It's about nuclear weapons and
Interesting.
yeah, because with the Trump administration, we're going through something different. So like I want to touch on it, but
Okay. I'm all about talking about this.
I don't have it all. I don't have it all there yet. So I want to make sure that what
Episode
I say
9
is,
maybe.
Yeah.
Darren will be here next week.
Yeah.
Know me in Twitch chat. I want to hold that, because I do want to interact with our fans.
Mm-hmm.
Nomi says, what kind of PC do you have? Well, this computer behind me, for those of you listening on SoundCloud or on whatever with no image, there's a computer behind me. I built it myself. It's a whole thing.
It's
right?
flashy. It's
Custom built. It's not that flashy, dude.
It's,
I got
it's
like no
flash
lights in
for
it.
people that don't know computers. There's like it's like the computer case, but it's about 2 feet tall, and there's like it's see through, so you can see all the components inside, and everything
I can list
lights
my
up.
components real
and
quick.
everything lights up. But for people that don't know computers, it looks crazy as shit.
Looks crazy as shit. Well, I'll list it off real quick.
Okay, list it off.
Corsair 750D, dude, full tower fucking chassis. I got a Z97 MSI motherboard gaming 5. I've got 16 gigs of 2400 megahertz RAM. I've got a 1 terabyte hard drive WD. I've got a fucking 850 watt power supply. I've got a GTX 960. It's a shitty graphics card, but it works for what we do. I've also got an AIO water cooler, son, doing work. I got a fucking Intel i7 4790K. It's a good ass processor. I make all types of videos and renderings with it. I got a good computer, man. Spent about $1,600 on everything total. Got 2 monitors. Got a new keyboard coming in the mail, actually. I'm going to have to check my phone periodically.
Yeah, that's cool, but like, does it have a Hemi?
Does it have a Hemi?
Is it naturally aspirated?
It's got
you gotta tell me.
It's got a bobblehead in it. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty good, right?
Good enough.
I'll trade a Hemi for a bobblehead any day, dude. That's what I'm saying. It says Monday.
It's a solid computer. You ain't getting that keyboard today.
It's 4. Yeah, that's probably not going to come today, but I get packages really late. But the thing is so I bought, speaking of computer parts, I bought a keyboard online, folks. And it's shipping here. And it got to like my city last night at 9 p.m. So I was hoping it was going to come out in the mail today, but I guess I'm not going to get it till Monday.
They're too lazy. They're trying to look at their Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah, but I need it now, Matt.
You fill out those little squares that you get. You never worked for a company with football squares, have you?
Yeah, I have. I
Have
worked at Garden Fresh Gourmet, best salsa company on the planet, supposedly. I don't
Owned
know.
by Campbell's now.
Yeah, owned by Campbell's. I was there when they made that purchase. I know those people. I don't know them by name.
Do you know the Campbell's people?
Yeah, they used to come all the time.
Campbell's. Hey,
It was like they spent years trying to make that business deal. They came all the time. Jack, the owner of the company, I knew him.
Jack Salsa.
He's an asshole, dude.
Jack
I don't
Fresh.
want to put him on blast because if
You just did. It's too fucking late.
if suddenly this episode gets like 8 million views and we're like in the limelight, and then they hear me saying Jack from Garden Fresh is an asshole, I mean, I don't want to like ruin their company.
Slander.
Salsa.
It's fucking slander.
I will say the
allegedly,
salsa.
allegedly, you have to say
Allegedly,
allegedly, he's an asshole.
Okay, allegedly, Jack Aronson from Garden Fresh is an asshole. And by allegedly, I mean I worked directly under him and I saw him every day. Anyway, the point is their salsa's great. Okay, don't get all mad about their salsa and shit. Their products are actually legitimately healthy, good, delicious. He's an asshole. I used to see the Campbell's people come in all the time. Anyway, the point is the fucking squares.
Yeah.
Okay, the football squares. I worked there for 2 Super Bowls worth. I was in there 2 years total.
Okay.
I worked there twice, and I was 18 when the first Super Bowl came along, and they were like, "Oh, we're filling out Super Bowl or football squares," and I was like, "What is that?" Because I didn't know, because my dad, doesn't play
gambled.
sports,
That's cool. You're a
and
little baby boy.
I had no idea what it was even.
Little baby boy.
And I put $5 down in a square. I got nothing. I don't remember who I picked or what. I don't remember.
It's hard. Those things are fucking hard to win because if you're not the first one on there to pick like real numbers, like if you get 2 for the first quarter, you have to get a safety. But if you get the safety, fucking set. Like the year that Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl, they got a fucking safety. Like whoever got that square fucking won out.
Money, yeah.
It's just it's fucking hard if you get like a fucking 2 or you get a 4. Yeah. It's like realistically you got to get 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, which is not really going to happen, or you get fucking 2 I think that's how it works. I can't remember. I haven't filled it out in forever. It's like you get like
I don't remember. And it's different. It's one of those things too that it's different. Everybody runs it a little bit different.
Yeah, fucking gambling. Gambling's so rough.
Gambling's rough.
But I know people that do it. They don't. It's not about gamble. It's not about actually the winning. Like they're not addicted to winning. They're addicted to the adrenaline of winning.
Yeah. The adrenaline of waiting to see if you won.
So I know somebody that went to the casino and won like $5,000, and then they went to the high rollers room to go play like blackjack or poker or something, and they came out like 2 minutes later, and they lost it all.
Damn.
And but they weren't affected.
Yeah.
You ask them why? It's not because they're like they really want to win. They just like the thought of winning, like, oh shit, I could win.
Yeah.
Like if you won all of the money in the world, you'd want to gamble it. It's not the winnings doesn't matter.
It's the adrenaline. It's the adrenaline rush. The addiction to the gambling part. It's not about the winnings or the losings. Yeah, I never bet on sports. Though I did that one time, and then
I wish
I've never entered like a fantasy league or anything, or did a bracket. I used to watch a lot of basketball, right? When I was playing basketball, I was really into it. And my predictions are usually pretty accurate for games, right? Because I like stats, I like numbers. And I just have never gambled. But one time my aunt did gamble. She filled out a March Madness bracket, which for those of you who don't know, it's college basketball. Their playoffs is called March Madness because it's a huge fucking bracket. I don't know, it's 64 teams.
It's a tournament, yeah.
It's a tournament, and it happens in March.
1 game knockout. So like if you lose, you keep going, or if you lose, you're out. If you win, you keep going.
So they call it Madness because it's like everybody fills out these fucking brackets and basically gambles money on who's gonna win what game, and there's like fucking trillion games. So. Anyway, my aunt filled one out, so she moved into a new house. This was, I guess, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. She moved into a new house in like a subdivision, and the entire subdivision had a committee, and the committee was like, hey, everybody, every house, fill out a bracket and send it in. And they all put money in like a pot. Right? I think everybody had to pay $40, and then you put money in a pot, and then like the top 3 win, whatever. So... yeah. It's just a cool community thing they were trying to do. So my aunt filled out a bracket. My aunt was actually very into college basketball. And I was like, okay, she's probably going to fucking win. Because I'm looking around at all these scrubs that live in her subdivision. These motherfuckers don't know nothing about sports. Okay? Sure as shit, end of March comes along, and I call my aunt, because she lives somewhere else, and I said, hey, did you win anything? How'd your bracket go? And she straight up got last place. Out of like 40 people.
Yeah.
Last, dude. Like, that's the worst. That's so bad. How are you last
That's
place?
Where the madness comes in. Because when it's a 1-game elimination, if you have one off game
in the first
your
round,
fucking season's done.
Yeah.
And you could have a Cinderella season where you're shit. You're dog shit. You're worse than dog shit. And you
as a player, as
you
a
just
team,
go on this crazy run, and you can make it real far, and you can knock out seeds. It's very few instances where number 1 seeds get knocked out, but it's happened, man.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's madness, because teams that you think, oh, they will never lose, but when you're making the bracket, you got to understand that there's going to be upsets, and you got to pick those upsets. You got to be like, okay, how good is this team really? Can they're dominant at the 3, but even though they're like some third division school, they're going against some like 8th ranked school. Yeah, the school that's 8th, they can't defend the 3.
Yeah.
This team can. So you have to like take it kind of.
The crazy thing,
even then you don't know. Even then
you never know. And the crazy thing about betting on brackets is, it's like a ladder effect. So if there's 4 or 5 rounds in the first round. If there's a number 1 team, right, best team in the nation, playing some shitty 3rd division team, that's I guess they'd be ranked. You're obviously pretty much any better alive. 90-something% of bettors are like, okay, I'm gonna pick the number 1 team, because that's pretty much given. Like the number 1 team in the country might get knocked out in the semifinals and the Final Four, but they're not going to get knocked out in the first round. They're probably going to rout whoever they're playing against, the 64th seed. Okay, they're going to fucking rout them. So you pretty much always bet on that team. So if you fill out a bracket basically based on, like, the number ones are definitely going to win, the number twos are definitely going to win. If one of them loses, your whole fucking bracket's shot. You're not winning shit.
No, you're not.
If one team that definitely should have won loses, you're fucked on your bracket. So people that bet a lot of money on these games, it just gets worse and worse. Like, it's not like, okay, well, damn, we lost a game.
But
maybe next
that being
week.
said, it's like usually when you get into like 3 rounds in, you're down to like you figure out who wins. Like nobody usually gets down to the Final Four or the what is the 8 the Elite Eight. Yeah, nobody usually gets down to that. If you get down to that, that's fucking crazy. If you get down to the final fucking
if you can get them all right to the Final Four, you're
because usually it's just like some random ass like 12-year-old kid that just picked out whatever teams. Yeah, just
teams
random as shit.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, but because that's the thing is you don't know, man. My aunt was so fucking good. I'm not gonna say she's necessarily good at guessing, but she really was into basketball, and so for someone that really knows the sport to become last in the March Madness bracket, at her house.
A lot of analysts fill out those brackets, and they're never. Yeah. It's always some 13-year-old kid that they got to bring in a sports center to be like, oh, how'd you pick this?
Yeah.
I'd closed my eyes and I said bop 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 bop. And
I did it with a crayon. Blue's my favorite color.
And then they're like one team away from winning it all.
You got grown ass men wanting to kill this fucking kid.
Yeah, because they win like thousands of dollars.
I don't know. I never filled out a bracket. Actually, that's not true. I was working a job where I was going door to door. Now you know this because we've talked about this, but I was working a door to door job, and at our office I had a boss, a manager, and she was really nice. It was a great job, but it was March Madness, I guess 4 years ago, and she called me while I was out. I was in Lansing. I was walking up and down the road, and she was like, "Hey, did you want to do a bracket?" And I said, "Yeah, sure," because it was free or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll fill out a bracket." So she asked me there over the phone. She'd say 2 teams and say pick. So I filled out my whole bracket on the phone. It took like half an hour. And
you're in a suit, like walking.
I am.
Fucking,
I'm like
hot as shit. Yeah. You're like fucking.
It wasn't
like,
hot. It
fuck.
was.
I thought it was midsummer.
No, it was March, dude.
So, March. I don't know why I'm thinking.
It was. I think it was last week of February, March. It was like cool outside, but I had like a binder and like all my shit that I needed to go to my next customer.
Gonzaga.
And
Marquette.
And she was. And I would make a pick. She'd be like, oh, whatever, man. Clemson versus Gonzaga, and I don't fucking know. Clemson. And she'd be like, really?
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 If you're going to fucking second guess my picks, why do it?
And so I would just flip my picks and shit. And like I ended up getting third to last place because for the most part I wasn't following basketball that year.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though.
It doesn't, yeah.
As long as you just got to know that.
I picked the big teams and I got those ones right, but everyone's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. Gambling though, don't do it. You ever go to casinos?
Yeah, I've gone to casino. I never spend money though.
If
I do, I spend $20. But when I do spend the $20, it's like I max out the slot machine to what I can bet.
Yeah.
So if I hit, I'm fucking getting the jackpot. Because people think it's like, oh, if you hit the like 777 or whatever the fuck the number, it's usually 5 7-7s or
right.
Like cherries.
There's
like 7 and a cherry, then a 7 and a cherry.
Yeah, whatever random.
Or whatever it is. Yeah, if you just bet like a penny, you're only getting $50. But if you bet your max amount and then you hit it, then then you're getting the $50,000. So I was like, every time I go, I'm like, fuck it. Like $20 is all I'm gonna spend, and if I hit, I'm fucking hitting big.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. There's no, I want to play for like 3. It's like I'm down to play for like 5 minutes, and then after that,
yeah,
I'm good.
You gotta play those fucking like $5 machines because, dude, I literally was at there's a casino, I can't even remember what it's called. It starts with an O, and it's kind of north. It's here in Michigan, but anyway, we were at the casino and we went to meet up with Christina's mom, and her mom's boyfriend, because they go to casinos all the time because they're 50, and that's what people do when they're 50. They go to casinos, they fucking get some, they get the buffet food, and then they sit down and they fucking play the mermaid machine for an hour. Yeah, whatever. They play penny machines and shit. Anyway, we went there with them. And
the lever doesn't even work anymore. It's just a button.
No, it's just a button. Most
lever's just for aesthetics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some of them have the lever, but it's like you could also just press the button. Know, so everybody sits there, lean back, with their fucking free drink, just hitting
cigarettes,
the button.
Smoking fucking chimneys of cigarettes.
Yeah, man. Calling for free drinks.
Hey, give me a beer.
Because you get free drinks. You don't get free beers, but you get free pop.
No, it depends.
If you have like if you're like a rewards member, really,
dude. Okay, so I'll finish my story and we'll talk about free drinks. We were at the casino. I guess this was a couple months ago, but anyway, we met up with her mom, and her mom was playing a penny slot. Now the penny slots, you don't have to play one penny; you play denominations of it. So she was playing like nickels at a time, and she did win the jackpot, and it was $40. So it's not a lot.
Yeah, because she was playing nickels.
Because she was playing nickels. So it's not even like you said like a lot more. I was like, no, dude. Like winning the jackpot on a penny machine is you might as well just not even go.
Yeah.
Because you're spending that anyway.
Yeah, just max it out.
So go play the $5 machine. Drop $50. If you don't get anything, well, fuck it. But I don't know. The casino's more about fun. But the free drinks thing, it depends on where you go. In Detroit, our casinos, the free drinks are pretty much limited to like sodas and
soda pops.
Yeah, but when I was in Atlantic City, which is a huge casino town, for those of you that don't know, Google it.
How does nobody not know?
I didn't know what the fuck Atlantic City was until they explained to me like, oh, we're like, okay, we went to Washington D.C., which is not even close to Atlantic City.
Yeah,
it's a 4-hour drive.
Okay,
and they were like, no, we have to go while we're on this trip. We have to go to Atlantic City tomorrow. And I went with them, and like they were explaining to me, I didn't understand why, and they were explaining it's like mini Las Vegas. A lot of fucking casinos there.
That's what Reno says too.
What it's for.
Reno says.
Well, yeah, because they're next to Las Vegas.
Biggest little city in the world.
So we go to Atlantic City, and they have pretty much all the Las Vegas casinos, just smaller. Like they've got Caesars, they've got Bally's, all these fucking places, Bally's, whatever. And we go to Caesars, and we sit down because we're just chilling. Because we're walking the boardwalk, and we're sitting down in Caesars, and we go to the free drink ordering mechanism, which is literally on the machines. It's so fucking easy to get drinks while you're gambling because they want you to sit in your seat and fucking gamble. You just press the little button, and then they bring your drink to you. America, bro. It was pretty much every alcohol you could imagine for free, but like complicated mixed drinks were like $2, $3.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could just drink for free.
Fucking get hammered.
You know, like complicated drinks, big drinks, but like for the most part, beers.
Yeah.
Tap beers. The bottle beers, obviously, you have to go pay for at the bar, but the tap beers are fucking free. You can get vodka. You can get pretty much anything for free. But once you get the complicated shit, you pay $1 or $2.
I like that.
And you know. But the idea is you're supposed to tip the waitress. And I'm pretty sure the cocktail waitresses there probably have to split their tips with the house anyway. So they get the money for the product they're selling.
Maybe.
I don't know. It depends. It's different at every casino, right? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of gambling, though. I don't gamble.
Yeah, it's not fun. I don't like losing my money.
No.
You're gonna lose more money than you win.
Yeah.
More than likely. That's why I go like maybe once a year and I bet $20. So like even if I go my entire life, I live to 100 and I spend $20 every year, and it's really not that much money. It's not.
Yeah, it's
like,
not.
Like if I win, if I do win, it'll make up for it. And then I just cash out.
Yeah,
that's it.
The only good experience I had gambling at a casino anyway was I put in $20. I said I do the same thing, $20, right? It's an easy denomination to say this is what I'm spending. You take out one $20 bill from the ATM, you say this is what I'm spending.
Yeah.
No more, no less. I'm not leaving here unless it's more money than this. Or nothing. I put out $20 and I ended up making I left with $34. So I made $14 off that 20.
When do you decide
good.
When do you decide though that you've made enough
I had
money?
more than 34. Trust. I got up to like $50.
Yeah.
But I was there for hours.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
On a nickel machine, just fucking running, making 10 cents.
See, I'm willing to
and
go.
I got up and I was like, let's see how far I can go. And I started betting more, and then I got down again. So I said, no, I'm done. But it's all about mental fortitude.
Yeah.
You're done when your brain says I'm done.
Yeah.
You have to be strong enough to stop yourself.
I guess so. I go in with the mentality is if I don't have over $100, I'm willing to let that 20 go. Like I'm like in my mind, the $20 is already spent. So like I don't have that 20.
Yeah.
Once I put it in, so it matters no less to me if I make $30, I'm just gonna keep gambling that fucking money away. $40, $50, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah. Like the 20's already gone. Like I don't give a fuck about making an extra 20. Like yeah, it's cool, but like. I keep saying like, god damn it.
It's okay. You gotta exercise your mouth outside of the stream.
If I'm going to win, it's gonna be big.
It's gonna be big.
I'm gonna make it big. That's the only way I'm walking away from that machine. If it's over $100,
so here's the tactic.
I'll walk away.
Here's the tactic that Christina's mom uses.
I don't know if I want that because you just said she gambles all the time.
She gambles all the time, but she's not broke, dude. She's got a good tactic. Like I said like too. Now I'm conscious of me saying like all the time.
Yeah.
She goes to the casino, and she's essentially takes whatever she's willing to spend. She actually does like $100 and $200. It's just a huge fucking weekend. She just goes out and says, "I'm gonna spend $200 this weekend." But she takes that number, $20 for instance, and she says, "Whenever I get more than 20, I take it out, I pocket whatever I have, the dollar or whatever, and I put 20 back in." And so she has 20 in play, and as soon as that 20 is gone, she's done. But every time she gets over 20, she takes it out, she fucking changes it out, she takes the 20, keeps the rest, continues to play. And the thing about going to the casinos is her numbers are bigger, but the thing about going to casinos and being a regular and having a membership is that they have things all the time. Like every month there's a free play weekend. And if you have, and this is pretty much every casino I've seen, if you have an account with them, a membership, once a month they'll have a weekend where if you come in, they'll give you a $25 credit to play, free play, right? Most casinos call it. And so some people come in and they just take that $25 once a month. They go out to the casino, they take that $25, see if they can't make anything. And if they don't, they don't. They go home. It's just a good time. But some people do lose their fucking lives in the casinos.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. Panda Jams, welcome to the stream.
Oh, we were talking about you, Panda Jams.
Yeah, we were talking about you earlier, our number one fan. Thanks for being here. We got a new camera angle, kind of. It's also different lighting today. Feels good. Feels good, boy.
Mood lighting.
Mood lighting, dude. Getting sexy in here. So, yeah, not a big gambler.
Yeah. No.
Have you ever been to Atlantic City?
No.
No?
I mean, the only gambling place I've been to is downtown Detroit.
Yeah, it's
downtown,
not the same.
But it's weird because we take for granted having casinos. Most of the country doesn't have casinos.
That's true.
It's Indian reserves or Las Vegas.
It's interesting that we have casinos like that, like so close to our city.
That's the thing that people go downtown for. To be honest, casinos for people that haven't gone to a casino, it's not that crazy. When you walk in, it's overwhelming at first because there's so many fucking lights and sounds and people.
Yeah.
It's a big video game center. Everybody's playing a video game that just makes money.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, it's cool at first. Then you sit down, you start looking around after you spent your $20 or so dollars, and you realize, damn, these people, like, this is just, it's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad to watch, but I don't know, man. Panda Jams, you are our biggest fan, man. Thank you. Have you ever gambled? I don't know if you're old enough to gamble, but let us know in Twitch chat, please. And if you guys are listening on iTunes, this is the type of shit we need to know, dude. Because Matt and I don't gamble, but maybe somebody else has a better.
We're not a
because
gambler.
I can understand, like, you might have somebody else might have a different viewpoint of that exact scenario, Matt. Because me and you and I, we don't like gambling. So when we see it, we're like, wow, this is fucking madness. These people are it's kind of gross in a way. You're like, look at all this gluttony in a way. But another person might look at it as, oh, it's like New York. It's awesome. It's hustling and bustling, and everybody's here having fucking a good time. And I can understand that because I was thinking about that, not last time I went to the casino, but one time I remember being at the casino. I think it was MGM Grand here in Detroit. And I remember just looking around, like, you walk in the fucking doors after the security, and you're like, oh my God, dude. Fucking everything is artificial lighting, and the ding, 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 ding.
You don't know what time it is. There's
poker.
No windows.
Yeah, there's no windows. You could just be there 24/7 and not know what fucking time it is. And I remember thinking, like, man, this is fucking awesome. But I hate gambling because I know these people are not making money.
Yeah.
The casinos making insane amounts of money.
There's a reason why they're a business.
But I respect like how fucking cool it is.
It is cool. That's what I'm saying.
You know?
But once you get over the coolness, once you realize where you're at and you've been there for an hour, it's no longer cool and you're just walking around. There's soda everywhere on the ground. Everything's sticky. There's cigarette smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
The people that you see there, nobody's really looks happy. Everybody just kind of is
slouched over.
Everybody's
pissed off.
They're a zombie. They've probably been there for a couple hours. It's a weird thing to see. It's a weird environment to be in. Like I say, I go once a year, so it is cool. But if you're there for over an hour, it kind of sucks. Yeah. I'll be honest. For me personally, it's just not that much fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I like going for the atmosphere, but it is one of those things that's like you can't stay there long. Some people do. Mostly the people do are the people that are addicted to gambling. But it's fun. It's fun to go in. You see the fucking lights. You play a couple games. Oh my god, honey, I'm gambling. You know, like it's like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. You're leaving your everyday life, right? And you're seeing the fucking flashing lights. It's like going on vacation, like I just did to New York. In that way, you're just seeing all the lights and you're enjoying it for a small window, and then you go back to reality, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I went to Atlantic City, and I will say Atlantic City was fun. It was really fun because it's different. So what we're experiencing here in Detroit is we go downtown Detroit, and we go to the casinos, and they're all basically in the same area, right? They're a few miles away from each other. Motor City, MGM, Greektown. They're all pretty much next to each other, clustered more or less.
Yeah.
And so all we see is how cool the casinos are and how shitty the city looks, and like the people come in from like the broken down city with, you know, nobody, people, literally Detroit sucks. The economy there sucks, and they put all the economy in these fucking huge buildings that people gamble in. So you see a lot of people that are just suffering. They're just inside with their bags of everything they own, and they're just trying to gamble and stay warm.
You don't see very much of that, but you see people from the city. It's
because people from the city are not happy.
It's a very large extreme from the image that people see of Detroit. The image that people think of Detroit is generally Detroit.
Right.
The rundown, broken, crime,
kind of derelict area.
Yeah. That is a majority of Detroit. For people that don't know the size scope of Detroit can fit Boston, Manhattan, and Chicago all inside of Detroit.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest physical cities in America.
And we only have 700,000, 600,000 people living in it. That is an extreme low population, extremely low population.
If we were as populated as main city, not even if you went. I saw a stat. It was if you compared us to Philadelphia. If we had as many people per foot as Philadelphia, we'd have double their population because of how big we are.
So with that being said, and you have as much rundown territory, you literally have blocks, streets where there's one single house, and that house is dilapidated. It's barely standing, and you go down other streets, and you know that. Oh shit! There's no lights on that street. There might be a trap house down there. It's legit shit though, man.
Yeah, I know.
When you go, it's not just like hearsay. People get upset like, oh, Detroit's not. Detroit is as bad as people say.
It is pretty bad.
It's bad. The only good part that the urbanites, people from the metropolitan areas, the richer counties, they come down to Detroit and they stay in this like. The Woodward, you got Woodward, the road, and that's where everything is off of. So you got the sports arenas, you got the Red Wings arena, you got Ford Field, you got Comerica Park, you got Greektown, you got all the casinos, all of the major restaurants are off of literally this one road. And if you go a mile outside of this road in any direction, you're all of a sudden in the ghetto.
Yeah.
So the ghettos, as Donald Trump would say. You're in the hood.
Where the blacks live, as Donald Trump would say.
You're in the hood. There's some parts that are worse than others. There's some parts that aren't as worse as others. So it all depends on where you go.
Yeah.
There's some parts where there's just You could call the cops. You could literally have somebody stealing your car as you're calling the cops. The cops won't show up for like 2 hours because Detroit is such a vast area to cover. There's just public services that won't be there. And it's crazy to think about. There's parts in the United States in an urban area where you could need help and you won't get it. And that's just the way it is. Buses won't go there. Ambulances won't go there. Cops won't go there. It's just too much area to cover. They have to cover what they can, and then anything outside of that, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, there's no laws essentially.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want to, and it's a little sad when you think about it.
It is fucked up.
There's a lot of people that are gentrifying the midtown of Detroit, the College District, which is off of Woodward too, and they want to say that Detroit's on the up and up, and that you're starting to see this resurgence in Detroit. You're not. You don't see a resurgence. You see a resurgence off of.
Yeah.
You see people starting to populate like the very close parts of College campus right off of Woodward. You don't see that in the other parts.
Yeah.
The vastness of Detroit, that is the majority of it. The 98% of Detroit is not good.
It is largely bad. I'm big on that entire subject actually, because I felt strongly about that, because in the art community everyone says Detroit's coming back, and it's limited to certain neighborhoods, and I do agree with you, and I don't think people understand what's going on. The gentrification of Detroit, it's a real thing, and it's happening slowly, surely, and that's a big topic.
It's hard to see people gentrifying Detroit because on one hand, you do want to see people populating the city, and you want to see those areas become nicer. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you don't want the people that are in there that want it to be nicer being kicked out. And then you're those people that are living there. You're like, fuck, where do I go? You move to a different place, and you just want those basic public services that people get. You want running water, regardless of whatever it is. You want that running water. You want electricity. You want cops to be around. And they say they don't have the funds for it. And then you see, as much as I love the Red Wings, you see a brand new Little Caesars Arena.
$1 billion stadium.
Yeah. A crazy expensive stadium, mostly funded by taxpayers, being built right off of Woodward.
When you don't even have streetlights.
You barely have a community to live in. You don't have lawns you don't have parks to go to, because the park itself, the grass isn't being cut. The grass is 6 feet tall. That's insane. You have skyscrapers being sold for a couple $1 million. In no other city in America will you see that kind of stuff. If you're in New York, you're not getting a $5 million skyscraper. You're lucky if you get a $5 million apartment.
Yeah.
You're talking about a whole fucking 70-floor building or something stupid that. It's
pretty crazy. Twitch chat says ghetto is a word, not a place. I think ghetto. Well, I know what you mean. It's an adjective, not a place. I'm pretty sure ghetto was originally a noun, like to be in the ghetto. The ghetto is a place, and people started using. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. You should probably look it up and Google it. But I'm pretty sure ghetto was a noun before it was an adjective, because people now shorthand say, "Oh, he's ghetto" or "she's ghetto." But I think it's more he's from the ghetto. I think the ghetto is where it came from. But so anyway, the Detroit conversation, what we're seeing in Detroit is essentially an encapsulation of trickle-down economics. Now, that's a term that I think a lot of people our age just don't even, like, you understand it, but you don't think of it because it's not something that anyone talks about in the media, because it happened, 30 years ago to a lot of cities and just in federal government. But it's happening now. Like, Detroit's late to the party. It's happening in Detroit. What's happening is their idea of how to build a community in the city is trickle-down economics. They're saying, okay, we're going to take all this money. We're going to build this huge place for rich people, essentially, for suburbanites to come and spend their money. If people come from 20 miles away to come to these casinos and to come to these basketball games and hockey games in this huge, nice $1 billion arena, then all that money that we're getting from rich people, we can start to use that money to build houses for medium class, and then for lower class and shit and out. But you have to start with the big fucking business, which is the casinos and the chain restaurants and stuff like that. And so there's reason to that idea. It's not an unreasonable concept, trickle down economics, but there's an inherent problem with any economic plan that completely omits the lower class, because in this plan they literally will throw poor people out of their house and off of their block to build this fucking stadium, etc., right? Whatever business it is, they literally do that. It's not like, oh, they make a shitty deal with these people. It's like, no, we're tearing down your house. And then they pay them like a couple $1,000 to go find somewhere else to live. This is a real thing that happens. Now, generally, people are not that evil, and generally people won't build their stadium where people's actual houses are. But with Mike Ilitch and Dan Gilbert building this arena and basically owning all of that corner of Detroit, the downtown businesses and stuff, what they've done is, over the course of like 10 years, they've slowly made deals to push people out so they could have that land, boom, to build that $1 billion stadium, boom, to fucking lay that train line to bring in rich people. So it is, what they're doing is they're trying to invest in the rich people to come to Detroit to gentrify this very small area and push everybody else out. But nobody else has anywhere to go because the rest of the city is already fucking homeless. Like, so many of the houses are so derelict. You know, in between, like, you've got right at the outer edges of the city, near the suburbs, you've got houses. You've got legitimate communities, people, pretty decent houses, nice houses.
You've got
even
pockets of prosperity, like, slight prosperity.
Yeah. Like, if you go towards Dearborn, you go on 8 Mile, like near Ferndale, and pretty much across 8 Mile.
Yeah.
You've got houses. People have legitimate, like, every block has power. They've all got water. They've got rows of houses that none of them are burned down, like real fucking communities. And then downtown, you've got a lot of shit going on, but in the fucking middle, it's like no man's land, dude.
Which is, it's hard to say what the right thing is to do.
Yeah.
Because you have no man's land. A lot of Detroit is no man's land. So what do you try to do then? Because you can't possibly cover that much land with that few people and give services to all of them with the budget that they're given. So watching the documentary Detropia, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw that.
They have the plan to relocate everybody, but then it's an ethical issue. Now you're working with, is it moral to kick people out of their homes to put everybody in a concentrated area so everybody has the basic amenities that a community needs to be able to survive? Law enforcement, fire department, ambulance. So where do you start drawing those lines? And it's a real convoluted subject. It's
tough.
hard. It's hard to say.
The problem with problems of ethics, like decisions that have to be made ethically, like where do you put the money in a city? How do we relocate people? How do we build the city? Is that people are generally split down the middle of what they want and what they think is the best idea. So when you go to a vote, for instance, if you take it the Democratic way, it's always going to be split. There's going to be really strong opposition on both sides. It's very hard to figure out what the right thing to do is. So basically, and that's why I brought up trickle-down economics and the way that they're using in Detroit, the gentrification that's happening in these neighborhoods in Detroit, because there's the only real alternative to investing all your money in the big business and like letting people move in to get close to the big business and thus creating a middle class, and then just literally saying fuck the lower class, which is what's happening, which is what generally happens in most cities. Instead of doing that, the only alternative would be for the companies that have these billions of dollars that are, for instance, the $1 billion or so that's being put into this new stadium. The alternative would be take that billion, chop it up to millions, right? Like 1 million, like 100 different or 1,000 different businesses, put them peppered in throughout no man's land, essentially, movie theaters and stores and fucking restaurants, put them in the middle of nowhere, essentially, like evenly apart, and then you might fill out. People might move close to pretty much anywhere. If you can move pretty much anywhere, and there's a 7-Eleven and a grocery store and maybe like a movie theater.
To piggyback off that real quick, I just want to add something. Most people don't know this because they don't live in Detroit. there's only maybe 3 supermarkets in all of Detroit. When you're talking about an area, when you're talking about an area that can hold Chicago, Manhattan, and Boston inside of it, and you have one Meijer, which is like a Walmart.
One Meijer, which is literally
a Whole
on
Foods,
the edge.
and then you have like a Whole Foods.
Yes,
so you
which
have
is downtown.
Those are the only 2 I can think of. So you have 2 grocery stores in that entire area. That's a problem.
Like it's something to say about Detroit when they put in that Meijer on 8 Mile, which is literally on the corner of the city. It's not even like it's in the middle. It's so far away. It's like a half an hour drive from downtown. It's not like it's in the middle of the city.
You literally cross a street and you're in a different city.
Yeah,
like that's not a joke. You can look it up.
Actual border.
8 Mile in Woodward Meijer, and you can see that one side of the street is Detroit.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's not really. It is, but it's like super nice.
Yeah.
And then you got Ferndale, which is Ferndale's like one of the up and coming cities in America.
If you were 400 pounds, you could light jog to another city from the parking lot, like in 30 seconds. It's so fucking close. And it's a nice city too. Ferndale's generally very nice. So anyway, so the point is that you're right. There's fucking nothing. It's insane. And they made they had no supermarkets until they put in Whole Foods. And then they put in Meijer.
Who's shopping at Whole Foods?
Rich people downtown.
That's where it's put. It's put in the gentrified area for all the college kids.
That's trickle down economics, and because they kind of have to. Because like I was saying, the point is the alternative is to take. Let's say we take Whole Foods or Meijer. We'll say we take multiple Meijers, which for those of you guys that don't live in Michigan or in our region, it's like a Walmart.
It's a Walmart.
We'll say Walmart. So you take Walmart. Say, okay, instead of building one gigantic fucking Walmart in a gentrified area, okay, like where they put Whole Foods downtown, let's take a bunch of Walmarts and sprinkle them in the less populated areas, which in other counties and other parts of the state I've seen them do. Like near my grandma's house, they put in a fucking Meijer where there was like nobody living. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere off a main road. That place is it's slowly becoming populated. Like literally people are building apartments there. It's like becoming a city. And my grandma's, oh, I hate that they put this Meijer here. Rah, rah. It happens, okay? It populates an area when you put a big store. So if they did that in Detroit, maybe that would work. And that's the most fair way to build, right? Don't put all this money in one little, square block. Let's put it throughout the city.
Yeah, it's a nice block. But
the problem in Detroit is that because it's broke, it doesn't have good police, essentially. Infrastructure is a problem, right? We've got water pipe problems and distribution problems and light problems, but it's all because we don't have money. And so if you put a fucking Meijer in the middle of the hood, it's going to get robbed. It's not even going to make money. Like straight up, it's going to go to shit. So while you think like, okay, it's probably the coolest thing to do, the best, most fair thing to do would be to put this money, little stores everywhere so that everybody has a better quality of life immediately. The problem with that is that it's not a long-term solution because we can't maintain that many places. And so I understand why we have to do it the way it's happening in Detroit. There's really no alternative, and you can't be mad at the big businesses because while it would be nicer to have a 7-Eleven.
I mean, we can't say there's no alternatives, but me and you are not smart enough to think of an alternative.
It's a very basic concept. Now, there's probably some radical alternative.
Yeah. But
the basic concept is like you could put a Meijer over there on Joy Road, or you could put a movie theater, or a stadium, Joy Road, where. I don't want to be rude to people from Joy Road, but that's a bad fucking neighborhood, East Side, okay? You could do that, and it would make people that live over there, make their life a little bit better immediately. They'd be like, fuck yeah, I got a Meijer next door. I don't have to drive out to Ferndale. But it literally would lose money, and it would be a shithole, and a lot of people would move out and not be happy anyway. It would not be a long-term solution. In fact, the Meijer would probably close down. We saw that with Sears. They put Sears in the hood in Detroit. I can't remember where, but there was a Sears, and it closed down, dude, because people weren't spending money there, and the people that were getting jobs there were shit, and they were stealing from the place, and it was really hard. So because we fucked up so much for so long, and our economy is in the shithole, we really have no alternatives.
It also goes deeper than just economics. It's social economics. It starts with a lot of things that go beyond just money to be able to fix the problem, but money is a real driving force in the communities that they don't have. When you don't have the proper police force for specific areas, like you could put a Meijer or you could put a Walmart.
Yeah, if you
have the infrastructure to support it. If you have a police force that can catch people stealing, and
you have a fire department that shows up on time. Because
another thing is, I mean, we could talk about this all day. We got to wrap it up in a second, but the amount of fires that take place in Detroit because of all the abandoned buildings is insane, and
it's immense.
And the lack of supplies that the fire department gets in Detroit is just it's laughable. They have to use equipment that's not safe to use. They have hand-me-down equipment. Like they get one new pair of garments of fire retardant gear, and that usually goes to the newest member, and then everybody else just kind of has whatever. And they've fought multiple fires. There's fires every night, and there's not enough fire stations. It just speaks to the volume of ineptitude that we have in Detroit when it comes to public services.
Yeah, what it was. Yeah, it's inept, dude. I don't wanna make it out to be that the people that are currently working in Detroit, the police people, the people that are heading these committees are not necessarily doing their job wrong, but we did I shouldn't say we. I don't live in Detroit City, but Detroit City did its job wrong for so long that it's fucking crippled the future of the city for a while.
Yes.
So the city has to figure out how to make money so that it can have better resources for the cops that it has, so it can have more fire trucks, more ambulances, because as it stands, you just can't, because the city's so fucking big, you can't respond quick enough to make safe areas of the city.
That's true.
So it's hard to build an economy in any other way, in any other fair way.
It's crazy because I have so much respect for the men and women that are in these departments, and they do these things, and they go fight the fires ill-equipped, and the police officers go to these dangerous areas and they're understaffed. I have mad respect for them. I mean, you can't put it any other way. You could dislike police officers as much as you like, but to put them into this category of everybody else, there's rogue police officers that you see on YouTube and on World Star and on the internet in general.
World Star?
World Star, dog. World Star Hip Hop.
World Star?
So you see those cases of officers that are just shitheads, but there's a lot of good cops out there that we need. If there was no cops, it'd be hard to police things. But regardless of the point, there's corruption at all levels in Detroit. It's kind of like, I feel like we're living in Batman Begins.
Kinda.
When Bruce Wayne is about to shoot the dude, and he goes to Falcone's little lair under the city, and he's like. What did he say? He went in there.
It's like my least favorite movie.
He brought his gun. He put the gun on the table and he was pointing at Falcone, and Falcone was, "You're not gonna shoot me. There's a mayor over here, and everybody's pocketed. You have Kwame Kilpatrick in jail right now because he stole money, and you have that type of corruption in the city. And you have the police department has gone through police chiefs like no other. I mean,
That's not true.
I think they've gone through 2 in the course of 10 years or something, which is kind of substantial.
Yeah, I don't know those numbers. I don't know for sure, but you're right.
Maybe it was the fire chief.
Maybe fire chiefs, because I thought the police chief's been there for a long time.
No, I believe the police chief went through a scandal and they're out, and the fire chief, I think we've had about 2 in a short amount of time. Regardless,
anyway,
it's understaffed.
Yeah, it is crazy, and that's anyway. So we're talking about the trickle down economics, and it seems like it's an evil thing. The fact that they're building these huge entertainment venues and casinos is what we were talking about downtown, and that's where all the fucking rich white people are hanging out, and trying to make it like Detroit's a great city when there's literally 80% of the city is just undermanned. There's not even water in some areas. It's fucked up. And it's not what needs to be recognized. It's not just the economic situation now. It's not just because they're spending all their money in downtown.
Yeah,
it's because we had fucking 15-20 years of corruption, and it ruined longer than that, I guess. Long time corruption. Created a shitty infrastructure, and we got no money. We don't have shit for money. They don't have buses. They have a few buses. They just added buses, actually, apparently. So I guess they're on the up and up.
If you want to see a real condensed version of what happened to Detroit, go to Gangland and watch the Best Friends. It's a gang in Detroit, and over the course of it, you can kind of see this in like a cosmic event of what happened with Detroit in the 60s with the race riots.
Yeah.
And you could literally see this mass exodus of the middle class out of the region, and that's why we have one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the country. Like when you go to a different state, you don't see the same sort of like metropolitan area that we got here. So.
Yeah.
But
we do have an immense metro area, don't we?
It's
Never
huge.
thought about it.
Yeah, you don't see the amount of people outside of a large city like you do here. Like suburbs, like for fucking like in 100 miles
Infinite
every
miles
direction.
of suburbs, yeah.
You don't see that. You don't see that kind of things. But
Yeah.
we should wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Yeah, it's about that time. It's 5 o'clock. We're gonna wrap it up now. I don't know. I had a good one. I think it was a good podcast.
Good.
I like the new
ended
webcam.
strong. Yeah, we ended
strong. I think the lighting was better tonight. It's getting dark now because it's getting dark outside.
I look like I'm in a horror movie right now.
Yeah, we look terrifying now. For those of you guys listening, like I said, we're gonna end it, but make sure to check it out on YouTube if you want to see us. See Matt. Really, Matt's the sexy one. I'm just the brains. And if you guys are available next Saturday, check us out on Twitch. Like I always say, you know about it. I say it all the time. Next week we're gonna try to have a guest. Maybe we'll try to do our first guest appearance. Matt says he can get our friend Darren on.
I'll get him on.
Yeah, and that'd be cool. So next week, probably at noon, 1 o'clock, some of that nature, Eastern time.
Yeah, tune in.
Tune in. Yeah, we'd like to hear you guys, your guys' fucking mouths and your keyboards. Panda Jams is here as per usual. Thank you for hanging out in the Twitch chat.
Thanks, Panda Jams. You're always like clockwork.
Look him in the eye.
You're like clockwork, Panda Jams. I don't even know what you look like, but I appreciate you. We're only 10 episodes almost.
This is the 8th episode.
We're almost 10 episodes in, and you've been with us.
Yeah, man. Look at that. The fucking full experience. You get to look Matt right in the eye as he talks shit to you.
I'm not talking shit.
Oh my, Matt, you sly dog, says Panda Jams. Look at that.
Listen, when we have thousands of people, we'll remember you. We'll remember Panda Jams. You.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. It's been a good one. We'll catch you guys next week. Wait, hold on. What should we play? What's our outro music?
Tune in again next week. I will hopefully be closer to having an intro and maybe an outro now that we need.
We're gonna get Matt to do the
outro
intro
music.
next week.
And hopefully.
Oh yeah. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, drinking operator, you showed up late, son. We just ended. Sorry about that. Goodbye. Catch us next week or on YouTube. See you guys.